The AI boom is no longer just about a technology story, but it's a power story. As Malaysia attracts more AI investment, more data centers, electricity demands is getting higher, denser and more continuous than traditional loads. And as we can see, global discussion, including at the World Economic Forum, also warns that AI and hyperscale data could sharply increase the power consumption for this decade, putting pressures on grid, storage and even energy security. And for now, so the critical question is definitely we have to ask, is not how fast Malaysia is adopting and how fast we are growing our digital economy, but whether our infrastructure is ready for it. And for this segment, we're going to speak to experts to examine the numbers, the risks, and what happened next to make sure the AI is aligned with the national grid stability and sustainability. And for that, I welcome you. Our guest ready in the studio with us is Koh Chuan Zhang, the Group CEO and co-founder of Plus X Energy. I want to say thank you very much, Koh, for joining me. Definitely for 2026, we're still talking about more the boom of AI, data centers, and a lot of power consumption in many ways.
Yep.
And global projections also suggest that data center electricities could nearly double by 2030, according to AI scenarios. With Malaysia rapidly attracting AI investments, data center, the main question, has our national load forecast has been revised specifically for AI-driven demands? What's your thought on this?
Yeah, I would say definitely it's something looks good that there's a lot of investment on data center coming into Malaysia. And definitely the question is because as we understand for AI, the key things, there's a 5 layer of the structure and the key fundamental of to build the AI up to the end user to use it, like the AI agent, what we are using today. Actually, the first thing first, before the infrastructure, is about the energy source. And that's the reason why we are seeing whether is Malaysia ready for that. And for Malaysia, I would say, so when we want to build a data center, it's quite important for them to look into power source and also the water source as well. Because energy source and also cooling is always very important. That's why if you look into the whole Malaysia, I would say right now, Peninsula definitely, right now in Johor and also in this Selangor, is quite a good place for that. And if you look into the whole country infrastructure grid and on the energy side, right now Malaysia Peninsula, in terms of energy power generation, is about 25 gigawatt. Yeah, it's about 25 gigawatt.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is good enough for the existing, like the base load and those load that demand on the population and also the economic growth from time being. So for data center, recently, I would say the existing previously in the beginning of last year actually is less than 1 gigawatt. And I would say right now it's almost like double up.
It's double, correct?
Yeah. So I would say to move on, there's based on the news which they mentioned they are coming in to the country, those MOU signing and also those like Google and also like Microsoft who mentioned on this, it could step up to about, the range is quite wide, can be up to 4 gigawatt to 8 gigawatt in the next 5 to 10 years range. Yeah. So based on that, right now the question is, when our grid is only ready for 25, how do we literally able to catch up for the next potentially like 4-5 gigawatt in the next 5 years? For example, if all this is coming, if let's say AI data center, this investment is not a bubble, it's something real. So I would say definitely it's not 100% ready. Yeah, because of most of this energy which is coming in, if we are going to build the energy supply based on the traditional energy, there are a few challenges here. First of all, they are not green energy. And today, most of those data centers who operate from overseas, they need to have a green energy. And secondly, those power plant, it could be really long. That in order to build it, it could be about 4 to 5 years time. And data center, we know the demand is huge, it's fast. So we need something which is able to catch all the speed as well. So based on this, I would say the country definitely right now on the National Grid ST and also TNB really look into the proper planning based on this demand from existing grid and how to capture and also to fill the gap from the clean energy based on this corporate renewable energy supply scheme, CRESS. is also in place. So I would say all this on the grid, on the national level in the country, I would say is all in plan. It's all in plan. So that's why this is, I would say this data center which coming in, definitely it would able to drive some foreign investment in. But the grid readiness is have to based on stage by stage. And also renewable energy definitely is the answer. So like solar and storage and come with a policy like CREST in place is important. And definitely, I would say this have to grow few things concurrently. So first of all, about how to plan on the energy side. For those like Johor and also in the Selangor area, for the existing data center to come in, on the existing power demand, the load and supply side. Secondly, for those infra on the energy side, let's say on the data center come in the probably 18-24 months, they need to up one data centers. So how soon is that local distribution in terms of energy readiness is important as well to plan for ahead. At the same time, it's about the midterm. At the same time, how can they offset whatever the CO2 emission which they emit by clean energy. And the clean energy plant have to build concurrently as well. Yeah, so I would say definitely the existing, and beside that, one very important thing is our national grid have to literally moving towards to smart grid. So when the grid is smarter, which means we are able to capture more renewable energy. Yeah, so when we have more renewable energy, for example, like solar, it will be the main energy resources in the country. We need the grid to be more stabilized with energy storage, like battery storage as well. So smart grid, power generation from solar, energy storage like BESS, which is a battery, energy storage system in place. All this have to run concurrently on the grid upgrade, on the grid planning, on the infrastructure readiness. Yeah, so I would say right now, Malaysia, we are literally going through this. And so far, I would say looks still in place. Yeah.
Correct. And definitely this is the requirements for us to be in great readiness. And talking about data centers, investment, Google, Microsoft is coming. It's a very great investment, but now we have to think about, can this investment not only help to build, but can we sustain with this investment? It's definitely very important. And what is quite interesting for me is for all the requirements that we need to be ready in all this development, in reality, in which part of our system that is not ready yet? Is it the generation, transmission, or distribution?
Okay, for Malaysia, in terms of our transmission, distribution, definitely I would say in Peninsula is one of the strongest in Southeast Asia. Yeah, I think this is something that we are quite proud of. But I would say right now, the immediate one definitely is on the generation part.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on because as I mentioned, it's only 25 gigawatt, and when you have another additional 4 gigawatt coming in, definitely we need to supply more energy on that. And definitely from time being, I would say it's important. Yeah, also literally it will become urgent, it will be on the grid infrastructures improvement, especially on the grid stabilizations. Yeah, that is important. So that's why if we look into the latest tariff change, this 1st of July last year, we were able to find out in terms of the tariff which they charge to the rakyat on the home user, and also for the factory or commercial user who are at the low voltage side. Actually, the government, which we lower the kilowatt hour charges in RM. But in order to upgrade the whole country grid infrastructure, someone have to pay for that. That's why we find out in terms of those maximum demand charges, which only happen for the medium voltage, those are heavy industry, which actually the charges over there also almost triple up. Yeah, so that is where the country able to have a fund, able to maintain or even to upgrade the grid infrastructures step by step from there. So definitely someone have to pay for that. Definitely the upgrade of infrastructure is important. But I will see right now the immediate one definitely is mainly on the energy generation. And this is not just happen in Malaysia. If we look into the US state and also China in terms of the competition in AI, people like Jensen Huang or Elon Musk, they did mention China is much ahead because their energy power infrastructure is much more ready compared with US. So the same thing it will be happening in Malaysia as well. And this definitely will create a lot of opportunity as well in the country.
It's also, I also would like to pick up with what you mentioned earlier, that you said that for us to be ready, that this is the important elements that we need to take a look at for smart technology, smart grid, and also, and the storage.
Yep.
Storage is very, very important. Not only talking about, even for our mobile phones, storage is also important.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about data center. And talking about we know that many Malaysian Solar Plus BSS project currently provide around 2 until 4 hours of storage. But for 24/7 AI and hyperscale data center operation, is that technically sufficient? How can we catch up?
Okay, so I would say right now in terms of solar energy, definitely the cost of generation is quite competitive compared with the traditional energy from traditional power generation. But when you go for solar plus BESS, which is the energy storage, the cost will be higher. That's why right now, in terms of solar plus BESS, to totally replace the traditional energy, the cost definitely is still higher. That's why right now, I would say the energy storage function, it would not dare to plus together with like solar energy to totally replace the traditional energy, but it will play a role for few things. First of all, as a grid stabilizer. Yeah, for the places which you have a demand and a supply mismatching places, which you have able to have a storage there in this area to stabilize it. That's the first thing. On the grid level, if let's say we go for the factory level, yeah. So why it's only like 2 to 4 hours? It's because if we go for longer hour, totally want to replace it, the cost will be very high.
Yeah.
But if we go for 2 to 4 hours, like to stabilize for the peak period for the hour in the country at that in one day is possible. Or even though for factory, because right now for factory or for data centers, usually they will have these peak demand charges, which is from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So when you have a battery there, able to lower down this peak demand period, which is like 2 to 4 hours, I would say is quite good enough to stabilize it. So that's why right now the battery is become a medium, to neutralize, to stabilize on the demand side and also on the supply side. But from time being, it still can't go for longer hour because the cost does matter. It's something it can't have a better ROI in terms of investment. Yeah.
In terms of investment.
Yeah, correct.
And very important for us to like sustain this investment beyond the investment timeline.
Yep.
And let's talk about PPA, power purchase. Sure. And definitely this is something that we know that large data centers in Malaysia is increasingly use corporate PPAs and even green power programs. And from this, when grid becomes, we can say becomes tight, and could like long-term contracts also distorts pricing signals or indirectly affect tariff on different users. What's your thoughts on this and how can we manage?
Okay, so right now I would say in the country, these grid charges, the way of how ST and also on TMB side to structure it, I would say is quite sustainable, because right now all the fundamental is still back to the normal grid charges from the ST as well the electricity code. So for PPA, in terms of the discount, in terms of the clean energy, let's say how many % cheaper compared with the traditional energy. If let's say this solar system or battery is at your premise, yeah, definitely the discount can go bigger.
All right.
Yeah. So actually everything was still back to the grid. Yeah, I mean the open public tariff code.
Okay.
The tariff charges. So, and for the one who would like to purchase for clean energy, they will enjoy some certain discount. Yeah. It just depends on your solar is on the side or your solar is at the other side. If let's say like CREST, this program, your data center can be in Johor, but you can build a solar farm at Kedah. Yeah, so this under CREST program, because your land in Johor could be quite expensive and the solar irradiance at Kedah is much better. So I can have another solar farm there and I just buy the power from Kedah to Johor for me to use. But throughout this progress, I need to pay a toll fee, which is a wheeling charges to pay to this grid operator. So definitely these charges have to pay them to maintain the whole infrastructures. So I would say all these structures, right, it's quite well structured that only for the user who want to purchase on clean energy, they have to pay for it. Or
Okay.
maybe they could have some saving on that. So it will not really affect those existing tariff code, yeah, especially for rakyat or for other small SME business owner. Yeah. So the way of how we structure it is quite well categorized. Yeah, but the way of how we structure it is also have to make sure for the clean energy purchaser able to buy the energy in a cleaner and also a cheaper way. Yeah.
And also, we need to think about all the small players. What are some of the safeguard measurements that we can ensure for smallest users are not indirectly exposed to price distortion?
Yeah, I would say right now they are all quite safe because if we look into the whole energy electricity tariff structure, for low voltage, actually right now if you look into the kilowatt hour charges compared with 1st of July before last year, actually right now has become lower. So the country actually we still need more clean energy demand, and also like more energy demand, more power have to generate. But you will see the whole infrastructures maintenance costs, they are all mainly focused on heavy industry, like medium voltage, these categories of energy consumer and above. So it could be medium voltage, high voltage, or ultra high voltage. They are the one who have to pay for the bill. So this is how the country, I would say, ring fence it. Yeah. And they are the one who need the most clean energy as well. So when they pay for that, I would say it's a kind of the fair system and also the fair structures.
And also, Malaysia is both for digital hub and also developing economy with growing industrial and household demand. How do we ensure that AI and data center loads do not especially crowd out manufacturing, SMEs, or even public infrastructure energy needs?
Yeah, I think this is one of a very important question because we do understand definitely the investment for data center coming in is good for the economy. Yeah, especially on the construction side, on the energy side. But for long run, in terms of job opportunity, it might not as big if compared with like manufacturing because data center you don't need much people to operate it. So definitely, I would say this in terms of how to manage it. Yeah, this is something which I strongly believe on our country side. In terms of government side, they know how to work on it. But in terms of the energy side, from our understanding as an energy industry player, for this SME or let's say for the mid-tier corporate who are running factory and a business is always there. In terms of the energy supply is always there. That's why for data center, in order to come in, they have to apply. Yeah, which they have to apply for the new infra, they have to apply for this new supply. Yeah, so this is how the grid operator, they try to ring fence it. And most of them actually, they need to sign up CRES as well, which is build solar energy battery system to offset, to increase those new power demand. So definitely, I would say right now, that's why it's good that right now, this rush of a data center coming into the country, in order to build it, is not too overwhelmed or super fast. Yeah, it's like literally like half gigawatt, then slowly go to 1 gigawatt, another 1.5 gigawatt from time to time. I think based on this speed, in terms of stabilize the grid readiness and do not affect those SME business, mom and pop business, I think still there.
It's very important for us to like growth, but also protect all these small stakeholders. And should energy-intensive digital projects be evaluated based on economic value created per megawatt consumed actually? Yeah,
I think definitely we should. Yeah, because it's also quite arguable when people talk about like data center coming in. What kind of economic contribution it will bring as well. Yeah, that's why I would say that everything we have to come into a balancing point. Yeah, because like a factory, definitely it could be getting more local business to export. Yeah, because this is something to grow the country economy, first thing. Yeah, because we are doing bottom Malaysia and then we are selling out to the country. I think there's always there we have to protect it. Secondly, for one factory, definitely we need to have labor. Or we need to have manpower in terms of white collar or blue collar. So the job opportunity is always there. So I would say this definitely is the sector that the government that shouldn't miss out. And from what I'm seeing right now, it's still quite well protected from energy in terms of the distribution on that, because this always come into a priority. Yeah, so for data center, it's always the special zone in terms of a grid, the energy planning for that. So I would say right now, we still see some harmonize at this beginning stage, and I hope this will be able to monitor and track well. Yeah, so it will not always not to affect those mom and pop business or the rest of other Malaysia brand or Malaysia company.
All right, let's give it a situation where we are in a very constrained supply scenario. How should Malaysia prioritize or balance between, we can say, data centers, manufacturing, and even public services, as we know that it's tough time?
Yeah, okay, I would say definitely right now, if we look into the whole country economic, I agree. The tough time on the business side is crucial right now, because we do understand in the different industry right now in terms of like from China to Malaysia to like trade war, all these things. Actually, not everyone they have a very good business. So I think in terms of lower down the energy bill is something quite helpful for those business owner. And right now, like the battery technology able to lower down their maximum demand in terms of the charges to the grid. But investment of battery right now can be less than 5 years, can be less than 4 years. It can be also share a lot of burden for those manufacturers in the country. Because I think manufacturers is always the engine to build the economy of a country. I think all this new technology and also investment on energy side is so far, I would say, still able to share the burden for them. So, because if you look into manufacturing, they always have a 3 largest cost, which is manpower cost, this energy cost, and also raw material. So as long as the energy side able to manage well with a different technology in terms of investment that lower down the bill, I think it's there. Yeah, we have to make them stay competitive, and the rest have to depend on each company, how competitive are them. Yeah. However, if you look into the macro point of view in the whole country, we need infrastructure project to drive the whole country economy. And it's always from those super mega skill project. So we will see construction company there, banker able to give loan, and then we are able to get the developer and also the contractor there, and slowly you will see job opportunity. So the whole value chain, right, it's always start from those big infrastructure project.
Okay.
So I would say definitely in the past few years, Malaysia we quite rare to have those mega skill project. And right now, definitely we are able to see it's a good news that finally, I think since last year, those foreign investors coming in, that we started to see a lot of this mega skill project started to drive the country economy. And this how one of part of reason the Malaysia currency also get strengthened. Yeah, I think the strengthening with all this investment coming into Malaysia definitely play a big role. So I think this balancing definitely have to be there, because when this mega skill project coming in, the value chain is all open up. Definitely you will see this value chain eventually it will still go to those local businesses from mom and pop up to the local manufacturers. Yeah, because when this demand there, the value chain is able to drive up, and definitely everyone able to get this benefit from there.
You said it yourself that sometimes the whole value chain is also starts with a mega big projects.
Yes.
So should demand response capability be mandatory for large AI and data center facilities?
Yeah, I think definitely yes, we need it.
Okay.
Because when this coming in, it's also a kind of activator to activate the country, have more urgency, for example, to upgrade our grid infrastructures, to accelerate the energy transition for the country. And when we have all this, you will have more business opportunity, you have more this job opportunity. Definitely you will able to bring a lot of, I would say, this stimulation, or let's say this impact, to bring positive impact for the country economy. Because I would say if we talk about the rakyat, the sentiment side today, I think people are quite proud that, okay, at least Malaysia is one of a country that has a lot of data center players invest in this country. And definitely in the past 1 year, we also were able to see there's a lot of data center related listed coal, actually in terms of their share price, in terms of their project business, able to bring a lot of different excitement in the economy. So yeah, definitely I would say, and also it kind of push for the engineering enhancement, because data center to build it is not that easy. Have to be fast, precise, in terms of technology side. So I would say definitely the pro is more than cons.
Right. You as a group and also the CEO managing a lot of development, and you have to navigate all the challenges and create more opportunities for the whole ecosystem from people and also the grid. And if you could advise from your experience and observation, and if you could advise policymaker directly, what is the single most urgent reform needed to align with digital growth and even energy readiness? To wrap up our conversation, please share with us.
I would say definitely economic growth and energy readiness have to go concurrently, but do not forget the fundamental right now is always come from energy side.
Okay.
So energy is pretty important. And the other one is the policymaker have to ensure those policy in the country in terms of those fee and also on the economic side is able to work. So right now, definitely in terms of, I would say, the infrastructures on CRES is facing a challenge right now as because there's a wheeling charges. I would say right now, if you look into the country, there's one fact that we have to face, which is in terms of the CRES, the successful of the CRES under this policy, the project is quite few. There are some projects already get approval, but it just gets started very recently. It's mainly because of, in order to pay the wheeling charges right now I would say is still at the high side. So as an off-taker, they don't really see much of benefit if they buy clean energy, because in terms of a saving, it might not really there. That's the first thing. Secondly, right now, the global solar panel price or battery energy storage price has increased a lot since January, because from China's side, they are going to remove the tax exemption at the 1st of April. And right now, on China government, actually they are lowered down the production for like solar energy in the entire China. So right now, globally, on the price of renewable energy also has increased. So when the investment cost increase, when the policy itself, we still have to pay quite a high like SAC charges or wheeling charges, we will see the green power purchaser in terms of their demand, it will reduce. So I think this is one of the key things that the policymaker, or let's say as an industry player, we will have to seriously look into this and see how do we need to adjust ourselves along the way to sail through the different
Not run, but we need
economy.
to adjust and adapt, definitely.
Yeah, have to adjust and adapt based on time, from time to time.
And that's a critical reminder. AI growth is not just a digital story, but it's a power story.
Yes.
And what you just shared with us throughout the whole conversation, readiness, transparency, and grid resilience will decide how far and how fast can Malaysia go. Thank you again so much for our guests. It's an honor to have you here, to Koh Chuan Zhen, the Group CEO and co-founder of Plus X Energy. Again, I hope to see you soon, and happy Chinese New Year, and hope you can have a very good celebration after this. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And definitely all of our discussion here will be featured in astroawani.com and across all social media platforms. And that's it from me. I'm Nina Rosman. See you next time.